faith that transcends the invisible. Imagine standing before a dark abyss, where your senses scream that there is no bridge, but your heart insists, there is a way. Faith is not a blind act. It is the courage to see with the soul what reality seems to deny. It is the force that lifts us when the ground disappears, the light that illuminates steps toward the unknown, and the voice that whispers, keep going even when everything seems to stop. In this video, we will dive into the story of Job, a man who, after losing everything, found in faith not answers, but the presence that transforms mourning into legacy. True faith is not a fleeting feeling but a decision to trust when physical senses and logic fail. It is in the moments when darkness seems to envelop your path, when the eyes cannot discern a clear horizon and the mind wrestles with uncertainty, that faith reveals itself as the anchor of the soul. It is not about ignoring the struggles but choosing to see beyond them, sustained by the conviction that a greater purpose is being woven by the hands of the Creator. Faith is the courage to walk without maps, knowing that each step, no matter how fragile, is guided by a wisdom that transcends the visible. The story of Job teaches us that faith does not demand immediate answers but an unwavering posture in the face of the unknown. Even when his life crumbled and his certainties turned to dust, he did not abandon his integrity. His persistence was not rewarded with explanations but with the presence of God. This reminds us, faith is not a conditional agreement, I believe if I understand, but a surrender that says, even without understanding, I trust. When we stand firm in this position like Job, we make room for the divine to reveal itself in our story in surprising ways. Trials, when faced with faith, are not punishments but opportunities for purification. Just as fire reveals pure gold, God's words work within us, burning away insecurities and shaping character. This process is not meant to hurt but to free us from chains we didn't even realize we carried. Every challenge is a chance to say, I don't see the purpose now, but I accept that this is transforming me. Faith, in this context, becomes the fuel that allows us to endure the heat of the crucible, certain that we will emerge more resilient and closer to our true essence. Letting go of fixed ideas and rigidly drawn plans is a revolutionary act of faith. Often, we insist on controlling every detail, as if our limited vision could surpass divine omniscience. However, genuine faith invites us to release the reins and allow God to write the narrative, even if it contradicts our expectations. It is in this surrender that we discover freedom, when we stop fighting against the flow of the unknown and begin to navigate it, guided by the certainty that the author of life never errs. There are moments when God seems silent, but his apparent absence is, in fact, an invitation to listen differently. Faith teaches us to perceive his voice not in the thunder but in the whisper that calms the inner storm. Even when prayers seem to echo in emptiness, he is shaping within us a deeper trust, independent of circumstances. Like a seed that germinates in the dark, our spiritual journey often requires patience to wait for the sprout that will break through the soil at the right time. Taking a firm stand like Job is not about flaunting strength but becoming a living testimony that faith overcomes chaos. When we choose to believe despite contrary evidence, our lives become a reflection of the supernatural. Every act of trust, no matter how small, is a seed planted for future harvests of meaning. Remember, God does not seek perfection but hearts willing to be perfected. Your faith, even as small as a mustard seed, has the power to move mountains, starting with the ones within you. Stand firm. The dawn will come. faith that transcends the invisible is not just an individual experience but a collective force that transforms communities and generations. When one person decides to trust in the invisible, their attitude reverberates around them, inspiring others to also take a step beyond what they can see. Job's story is not just about one man but a legacy of perseverance that echoes to this day. His faith, tested and proven, became a beacon for all who face storms without immediate answers. Thus, faith is not just a personal journey but a gift that illuminates the path for many. In the silence of the darkest nights, faith reveals itself as a gentle melody that soothes the restless heart. It does not promise the absence of pain but the certainty that pain will not have the final word. Like Job, we may not understand the why of every struggle, but we can trust the who that is in control. Faith invites us to rest in the promise that all things work together for the good of those who love God. This trust does not erase the pain but transforms it into an instrument of growth and connection with the divine. Faith also teaches us to value the process more than the immediate result. In a culture that seeks quick answers and instant solutions, faith reminds us that spiritual growth is gradual. Like a tree that takes years to bear fruit, our journey of faith requires patience and persistence. Every challenge, every moment of waiting, is an opportunity to develop deeper roots and a stronger trust. Faith does not rush, but it also does not give up. Moreover, faith frees us from the need for control. When we recognize that we are not the ultimate authors of our story, we find peace in knowing that a greater plan is at work. This does not mean passivity but an attitude of active surrender, where we do our part while trusting that God will do His. This duality between action and trust is the core of practical faith, enabling us to live with balance and purpose, even amid uncertainty. Finally, faith that transcends the invisible invites us to see life with spiritual eyes. It challenges us to look beyond current circumstances, believing that the best is yet to come. Like Job, who saw his life restored in surprising ways, we can trust that the same God who sustains us in the storms will also guide us to times of renewal and joy. Faith not only sustains us in the present but propels us into a future full of hope, where the invisible becomes visible and the impossible reality.